I'm back. So we looked at 8.5. Just remind you, this is where all the code is. This is where chapter 5, I'm sorry, chapter 8. If you click on that one, it will take you to this. This is the discussion we're going to be looking at right here. And we're going to do the same thing that pretty much the flowchart has done, which is breaking things up. I ask you to look into some of the details that's going on over here, especially related to the list and other syntax thingamabobs that are in there, including the slicing. But we're going to actually put that in practice in the next post. So let's go to the next post. So if we go over here, we're going to be looking at each individual function. Let's take a look at the steps we're going to take. We're going to kind of take things apart and studying them individually. So if we look at the fact that the author started putting the flowchart together by pieces, we need to do the same thing with the code. So let's take a look at this portion of the original portion of the big flowchart. And so we can start with hangman 0. So here you have hangman 0 has the isolated function for get random words. I had put over here a screenshot because when I copy and paste, I lose the whole format that is originally in the program and it looks kind of ugly. Also, we cannot see what's at the end of that long sentence. If I look at the actual program right here, take a look. You don't know what's at the end unless you actually go through all this, but it's a kind of a long one. It takes a long time to get there. We could also go the other way. Take a look. I did the back arrow to the left, I mean, not the back arrow, the arrow to the left, and it took you to the end. And that green line of words ends with the that is split. When you look at chapter 8, it talks about a split. And so if, let's say, we kind of didn't get it, and that happens, we can actually take it apart. And I usually, you will see that we're going to be doing that a lot. So here is words. I am going to, in my laptop, my idle allows me to actually, in the preferences, I do have an option for, let's take a look. I think it was in general. There is an option for line numbers. Yeah, show line numbers in new windows. I'm not sure why in your version of idle it's not there, because I already looked at some of your computers and I didn't find it. It is useful, so I can point out exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, let me make a little room to pick up this. I'm going to pick it up this way. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it to shell. And as you can see, the whole string over here ends with a function that's associated with string. Any string, you can put split to any string. And by default, meaning automatically without you having to tell it, it will break up each of these words into items in a list. That's what the split does. You can put something inside the split in which you might want to change the delimiter, as they call it. That is not a space. It could be something like a symbol, like a comma. You know, when you have a, what is that called? Comma separated values, a CSV text file, and it's all just has jumble things, but there are commas separating it. Then if you apply a split to that particular jumble of words with a comma inside here in quotes, then that will indicate what pieces of it will go into an item for a list. So now if I press enter over here, and I look at words, then I went from a list to, I went from a string to a list. So that means that I can access this individually. And in Hangman 0, that's pretty much what we did. We took part of that Hangman right here. We took apart pieces of it, just like the flowchart that you saw, that individual parts of the flowchart were isolated to develop it, to develop the whole flowchart. So we did the same thing. And so in Hangman 0, that's exactly what I did over here. In main, where is that? So we can run this. Where's my main? There we go. I didn't put main over here. Oh my God. Bad. This is bad. Let's fix that. I'm forgiven. And the reason why I say that is because you want to identify where the actual flow of instructions for execution takes place. And it's right here. This is the output. So let me clean up a little bit. It is my advice to use these common practices to make your life easier. Here's an example that we did in class. So take a look over here. I use this function getRandomWord, and it is actually defined over here, the function. And I give it an argument, words. Words is coming right here. Words is a list of words. That would be my argument. That would be what I give the function. And in return, the function is going to return a word. Which word? It has to be a random word. The word is going to go, the random word is going to be selected from this list called words that you can see right here. Using the rand int from 0 to the length of the word list minus 1. So the trick over here was to have the import at the top for random. And the next trick is to do one less than whatever number of words are in there, because the length will give you the total number of items in the list, len, right? The function len. But as an index, since you start counting from 0, the last element or the last item in the list cannot be accessed with the actual number of items, right? If we have 10 and it starts at 0, the index of the last item will be 9. One less than the number of items. So let's run this. So that this is Hangman 0. And it was just again to select a random word. So let's save this. And here it is. There's a random word, baboon. So somewhere in here, baboon was there. If you're interested in knowing exactly which it was, we can always print this. We're going to be doing that a lot. It's our base diagnostics. Let me bring this one back up. Hopefully it's not going to interfere with other things. Right here, we can put print and we can run. I'm asking you to run it multiple times. So we can see the word index, the number, the index for in that list, and then you can see which one actually it is. So let's do it again. Let's run it one more time. So here it is, word index 37. That means that the 38 word in the list is actually pigeon. There you go. We're gonna run it again and see what we get. So since it's random, we should get different words. Of course, it's not always true. And there it is. I believe there is a total number of 110. You can always do LEN of words. It will tell you how many items there are. Oh, there are 64 of them. So one more thing to say over here is the fact that we had given this name words. We use the variable name words. And that's because this is where words is defined. This is defined outside a function. It's pretty much in the same space. If you remember the visualization, the same space, memory as main. When I pass this information, whatever words has to the function getRandomWord, is actually what I'm passing is not the name of the variable. I'm passing what the variable contains. We also call it a reference, a location, an address to where it is in memory. So I can call this over here anything, it doesn't matter, because what goes in here, what comes in here is the reference or the address of all these words, a list. Everything in Python is actually coming with a reference, which is not true for all the languages. And that's the reason why this name is not the same as this name, even though, as you can see, the functions we're calling, they're both exactly the same, right? But what we pass it over here is not the name of the variable. It's not the name of the data. It's not the name of the list. It's actually the reference to where that data is. So we can give it any name. What do I want you to turn in? Because that has been a question. Well, let's see. We did a demo. I asked you to run this, or I'm asking you to run this. What is it, 4 times? Yes, run. I asked you somewhere to run 4 times, but I guess, well, I am sure that whenever you run it, I mean, it's not, I'm not asking you for a lot. I'm asking you just to run it so you can see that there are different outputs in there. Actually, it would be good if you submit 4 runs to see that in fact you're getting random words. So let's take a look at this. So if we go back at the end, submit for submit this out for executions. There you go. Execution. So you can see in fact that you get something random. All right. As that is Hangman 0. The mystery continues.